Okay, YouTube, I need to state something critical, okay? My mom just said in the car that, none of us that includes, Tommy, Lisa, everybody else that's TJ Noel and all of them have kids, um, except for David's grandkids, and that's including me, all right? Now, I'm not gonna state, anything about African American fucking a Latina, but what I'm going to say is this: what she means on paper, guys, is that you don't have kids that you can bring home. Okay, you don't have kids that you legally fight over custody. This, and that. But what does Mutrix know? What do I know is that I'm not a Tory. Do you know what a Tory is? A Tory is a man. That's a regular white man. Like Nick. Jason are Tories because they cut themselves on the head. That's society. That's the majority. That's your dad, and that's what your abusive girlfriend wants. Who wants you to work you to the bone, all the way to the point where you become a Tory, where you can't, actually stand up for yourself and be like, yo, this isn't a bargain. What they need to understand is to be mature, recognize that I have green eyes, and that I can call out your manipulation, but, for what you're saying, it won't be in my favor. Okay? So, let's just say, when it comes to getting your shit together, this is not, my cousin Ray is still a Tory, but he's a good Tory. When you're a Tory, it's not over. Because when you're a Tory, you can make fun of society. It's like, I can't be the black guy with green eyes who's unbelievably handsome that can manipulate female nature. I'm the reason why we have wars. I'm the reason I did this and that. There are levels to a Tory. After a Tory, you can still have integrity. This is connected to, black men that are less handsome than me that go to the SA asylum, okay? My mom has been to the SA asylum, along with all her boyfriends that are full black, okay? And another thing I want to state for this video about black people is that where it comes to my criticism growing up, this is heavily connected to Nas, and quote unquote b-ball, and it has to do with the Martin Luther King effect that goes on in my church. I just figured out something about FBF. There's a Martin Luther King fan. There's a Japanese fan, and how I consider myself Asperger's. That's retarded. This whole thing is that they're gonna kill me when I was younger because of the way I think. Like how Mr. Pedro says I was too eager. They literally did this whole shit at church. Say when Aristus looks alone, looks at a cartoon, looks like this, and that, and how it looks like it's hella speech bubbles and shit coming out. uh, that's literally what they did. And, on the outside, it's sexy, to women, when I know that's a form of retard, with no intuition, okay? I'm not doing anything. You're comparing me to top-tier basketball players, and all I'm doing is thinking. And that's what happens when you think straight. You come off appealing to a nigga, okay? And, what they have was actual real shit where black people grow up in the early 2000s. What ends up happening to me, I'm gonna flat out say this, man. Literally, when I ran the reality show, literally, and I had all these fucking women, that I do ever since I was in middle school, literally that I could play because of fan made making a pussy. Well, I have 1,000 girlfriends outside you. I have girlfriends that actually run shit. I have this, and that. I just looked at them there, like, yo, you're here. Might as well give you some good dick. Literally, and then I think about Lily. If Allie wasn't there, if I wasn't here for Allie, she'd be a goner. Unlike the immature game you play, okay? There's a lot of fucking shit. So, when I learned about blood, I learned a lot about the central government and how they split your soul. Literally, that police actually do it for emergency. Like, literally, when you put the police in a bad, thing. Like Helen, I'm gonna go straight in detail. The reason, why I'm having such a just is because, that thing I did at Family, which is 100, this and that, what you think about, in terms of the law, where it comes to statutory, is still 1,000 to 1 where it comes to criticism. But in real life, what you double apply, and that's a black fucking a Mexican, and that's somebody trying out something. And one of the videos I was gonna make with Cooper editing was Eris figured out this thing about reverse literally, and when it shows his criminal record, it looks like a fight because it's so little, but it's aimed so much for saying come on now to mental health. That so many people fucking agree with it, and not one person can use common sense. Okay, so they do a whole lot of shit, like literally when my chest goes up and down like at the pool, literally when I don't want it to, that's me fucking a bitch. Literally when I go back in time, that's me fucking Ashley. That's her breast, not mine, and that's her way of making the meat say fat. Okay. That's a whole lot of shit. That's what blood teaches you. A lot about the central government. That's what Penguin Drum knows. All right. So let's get to one of the things I forgot to say in this video. What that is I grew up with black people who shunned me, for the way I think, versus actual intuition. Okay. So brace yourself. How I speak in videos. How it's pattern recognition. Like, oh, the little fucking soft is gonna go fucking stale over there. Guess what that is? That is a Bernie Mac. But guess what happened to actual Bernie Mac in real life? They criticized me. At church, they literally, this is a forum of, modern day hip hop that got destroyed by me knowing dons of the internet, okay? When Avatar The Last Airbender was out, literally, guess what they were doing at church? He was like, well, do you watch sports, Eric? I'm like, no. He's like, what? Eric, you don't watch sports? Literally, what's wrong with you? This is that. They said everything about sports. He's like, okay, what comedian do you like? Dave Chappelle. He's like, no, that's whiteboard comedy. It's too straightforward. And it's really fucking true. My mom and Chris, really agreed that I was too fucking white when I was younger and I didn't feel for anything, to the point where they started saying, master, hip hop is in between, like, Martin Lawrence, and of course Bernie Mac. To the point, literally, with Lamaya and everything, and Lamaya was definitely one of them. She was the top one of them, literally. She was like, oh, this fool is literally singing again. Oh, this, that. It was actually some mid-term black shit. Nas is no fucking joke. Because what ended up happening, right, is they ended up saying sports are Central America, this, that. And then Chris came up saying, I'm telling you, people don't like sports. It's like, that's what happens if you don't listen to me. Literally, then fucking, you gotta get some more shit later on, and what that is. What she's referring you to the actual Bernie Mac show before she died. I grew up with people like, when MJ died, when Michael Jackson passed away, they're all like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know Michael Jackson personally. He's like, you're not really black. Literally, that came from me. Literally, watching the Avatar. Literally, getting roasted. Literally, and I come on to the bias. He's fucking laughing at me. Literally, and guess what ended up happening to her? How did I succumb? Me going up on the fruity internet with the cube. With all this mid-tier black shit that's been shoved down my throat that has a lot to do with basketball. All right. How did I do that? By recognizing, that it was just the internet, pattern recognition, to the point, literally, when I fucked somebody, I left around, literally, after they tried to rape her, right? Literally, I was just one of the people available, all right? So, you gotta say everything on paper, but the whole rule behind what I just said just now, is that, Ray, current, could possibly not be legal when it comes to his kids. Like, that could be a baby he stole. This is not, the meat is just fucking falling. And so I was talking shit to the cops, like, don't think I don't know about blood. Well, literally, it comes down to literally, oh, when he finally wakes up and gets back alive, they can put her in jail. All they're doing is they're using her to assess my shit, okay? I'm going in between, that's like you're going in between. And by the way, I can't say everything I want to say in this video, but that Lamaya was a very big point, okay? So, literally, so what's gonna happen later on today is I'm gonna upload a song, right? Literally, and the song is gonna have, a screamo sample like Dance Kevin Dance. But the main part of this video, right, is that, all this shit that goes in between seasons, summerfy. So literally where it comes to, my health, please to get fused, I show where the fucking woman, so get do this and that. And guess what's the biggest thing that you had to be return about? Was he said I had no kids. Guess what happened recently? We had Ryan, we had Daniela, we had Jesse, we had all those fucking kids that you fucking saw, but you fucking lost. Literally, so it's like, you know what? You really gotta get down to it, when it comes to, this India shit, all right? You really, really need to be mature, because literally, what does that mean? Literally, I could, say, literally, oh, Chris doesn't have kids either, this, that, what's the most mature thing? Literally, recognizing that I was a failure at 30. Literally, you can rhyme, you can do this and that. What does Uncle Tommy do to rhyme me? Literally, and now you're broke, literally, with all the fucking rhymes in the world, literally, 30 with no car, It's true, it's very true, and they're so fucking overprotective that they could make so many fucking distractions to the point where Chris and Mom can't give me a car, and the whole thing, literally, Chris took me to a dollar store in Newark when there was a fresh dollar store that opened up right next to Big Five, all that fucking, charisma and shit, and guess what ends up happening, right? Literally, he's like, you said the dollar store, this and that, you see, I'm not being specific, literally, how I'm thinking, above, literally, it's below because you didn't go to school. I'm sorry, guys, but, let's, the video time is about to go out, but it's very fucking true for this video, all right? Literally, so in all actuality, right? Literally, it has something to do with that last statement, but That means literally that's the difference. You see, just bought, you know, some baked fucking chicken. This is gonna make yesterday. That's fucking. I mean, tomorrow that's nasty, right? Literally, so the difference between her baked chicken at the house is horrible and fucking Popeyes. Literally, why did you eat Popeyes for your chicken at the house? It's just like that. And guess what I told you? What does that do for me? How did I come to that? Literally, if you want your own shit, especially when you're at a place or a group home, then go get a job. Literally, go get your own fucking shit. Literally, you don't want to fucking struggle to just survive. That's why my some of my girlfriends don't understand it. Oh, if you trim blood, it'll be alright. When you trim blood, guess what happens? I don't. You live life equivalent to autism, but you're not better than autism in actuality. But it's whatever. Literally, this is an emergency video.